I'm John Wardle, architect and part owner with my wife Susan in Waterview, the historic property at the northern end of the north of Bruny Island in southern Tasmania. There are two structures, Captain Kelly's cottage and the shearers' quarters, that sit on the edge of this vast maritime landscape overlooking the ocean of Storm Bay. We bought the property after a very quick and rather cursory single visit, knowing nothing about the history of the place. We did some very quick research, found out about the history of European settlement or colonial settlement that started with Captain James Kelly, a first generation European Australian from two convict parents. Kelly, being this maritime adventurer, built this small, rather Irish looking cottage right on the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean to the world beyond. Place of amazing ruptured oceans and waves that crash high onto the cliffs and up over the landscape. When we bought it, I hadn't realised the house was as old as it was, as it had been added to over so many years that it sort of lost the sense of its own history. Slowly, by asking neighbours, previous owners, putting ads in the local papers for remnants of history, old photographs, invited people that had stories to tell. We appreciated its really important archaeological and architectural history. You'll see then this relationship between the contemporary reading, somehow recording episodes of its own past. A rather curious form of curatorial restoration work where the paint has been removed to reveal the original paint colours around the staircase and through the hall and into the bedrooms. Bits of cornice and ceiling and wall and architrave and skirting slices through the old paintwork. Somehow tells a story of both the original proposition of the house but also the subsequent eras of existence that have been set from here on in. The thesis is that it was built by Kelly's ship's carpenters. It looks like it was done by several hands with different techniques in evidence. The house as it exists today is actually smaller than it was when we purchased it. We reverted back much closer to its original footprint. People on yachts and boats and fishermen who've known this little house there for many lifetimes. I really enjoy that aspect of its identity. As a testament to those ship's carpenters, we've had many nights with raging storms over Storm Bay, high winds and driving rains, and the house does not even creak. So it's a great place to be at that time, and you really feel the weather there. Really, it is, you feel very much on the edge. The house, really the primary elevation is facing the ocean, but we arrive at it through the rear entry, which is a large hat and coat and boot room coming to be welcomed inside. Within that principal structure are the four primary rooms of the house, which would have been at one stage 3 bedrooms and a teeny living room. I did move away from the flat ceiling that was there, and we re-engineered the ceiling with a pitched roof. An old door hatch into the old roofscape is now a window with a rope pull shutter that draws morning light into the kitchen. Maybe it comes from appreciation of technology. I like things that operate or move, and this house contains a series of those. The large wall that is on the side of the entry actually becomes a door and slides back when we're using the courtyard. The windows on the veranda seating slide back and retract, shutters open up, things sort of unfold, and the house as a consequence takes on a series of different characteristics, and different settings can be created with this degree of operability. These primary elements of timber and brick are totally locally sourced. A massive pack of Tasmanian oak directly from a sawmill made everything, all of the new walls, floors, ceilings, windows and joinery. But then as you look into the house, you'll see fabrics from the Burrell Textile Company in Portugal, tiles from Inax from Tokonami in central Japan, curtains from a young fashion designer in India that we met. So it has this aspect of Kelly's own life of being locally set, but like the house itself, built on the edge of a cliff looking out to the world beyond. There's something about Kelly's story that allows us to consider that this is a place where we can assemble lots of objects, and it's a house full of things, generally on sort of themes of ocean and agriculture and treasures found from the ocean floor beneath the property to archaeological digs on the property itself to things that we've assembled from trips around the world. I can virtually name every Sunday market from many other places around the world in this collection of things that has somehow been assembled in a relatively undisciplined fashion in this house. There's little doubt that this was, for such a small and condensed project, one of a high degree of difficulty. Restoring an ancient structure, giving it contemporary reading on a cliff edge on an island off Tasmania is not an easy process. I feel particularly pleased with the responsibility we took. So I do feel the responsibility of ownership. It's only now more recently that the harder reach into the pre-colonial histories of First Nations stewardship of the property has been undertaken. It's a more difficult history to research, but it's something that we're intent on doing now. But we feel very honoured to have a place that has such importance throughout so many histories that then come together to inform our use of the property and the stewardship that we now have over it.
Published 3 times a year, the local project hard copy publication contains over 350 pages of curated insight into the latest architecture and design across Australia and New Zealand. Printed on exceptionally high-quality paper stock, the publication is designed to be read and enjoyed over time, a beautiful and valuable addition to any personal library or coffee table. With worldwide delivery available, have the hard copy print publication delivered straight to your door 3 times a year with an annual subscription. Head to the description of this video to subscribe to the triannual print publication.